Benedict, let me tell
I'm
you
coming.
this. A leader, a
I'm
leader,
coming.
a leader, a leader, a leader
Wait.
who
Do
cannot,
trebles in the
a leader
EPL.
who doesn't have a good succession plan is a failed leader. A
I'm
leader
coming.
who doesn't have a good
No.
succession plan is a failed leader. When Ferguson left, United team collapsed. When Klopp left, we are winning the league. That is a difference.
Okay. So what can we get into tactics and touchlines? I think we want to talk about one of the most controversial conversations going on. Is Jurgen Klopp better than Sir Alex Ferguson comparing their managerial career and what they did for both clubs? So we have a Man United fan, we have a Liverpool fan who have their managers at heart and want to support them in any ways. So firstly, we want to look at both managers' careers. So would he give Rab the chance to speak on what Alex Ferguson did? He felt like if he was in the era of Klopp, he wouldn't have survived. And then move to Sam and would also ask him if Klopp was in the era of Sir Alex Ferguson, would he be named as one of the coaches and would he be mentioned as the manager who was able to turn Liverpool around? Because we saw some coaches have the chance and they couldn't get closer to Sir Alex Ferguson. So let's start with Raf. Raf, with Sir Alex Ferguson and Jurgen Klopp, if Klopp was in the era of Ferguson, with the technology, tactics, plans, and a whole lot of things, would Ferguson still survive in this era?
He wouldn't survive, not even for once. He would have struggled. And as I was saying before even we started this program, I said when a fine brain in Pep Guardiola met Alex Ferguson in the UEFA Champions League final 2 times, beat him hands down. That was a resurgence of that tactical fine brain in football. He disciplined him. And it's very unfortunate that Klopp, I'll talk about Klopp later.
Yes.
When we talk about Man United.
Talk about Ferguson this time.
Okay. When we talk about Man United, the first name that comes in every supporter's mind is Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
He is Manchester United. Therefore, he had the team under control. From the owners to the management to the staff to the players, he was in total control of everybody. Therefore, there was no player who would have come there and would have given Ferguson problems in terms of the ego he had. He was able to manage everything.
I think his control even went after he has even left his manager because he was taking coaches for them who to appoint or who not to appoint.
Exactly. And it backfired. Yes. That was a bad leader. That's
a
bad leader.
He
failed on that aspect. Now, number 2, if Pep Guardiola was in England when Ferguson was winning the league back-to-back and all, it would have been a different story.
Yes.
As we were saying earlier, in his time, they were just lobbing the ball without even a proper game plan. Even though they were coaches, they had game plans. The game plan was not as intense as now. Now, De Zerbi will expose your backline, will expose your midfield. Hazela, the Brighton's new manager, the Bournemouth coach. These new managers are always thinking about new things to add up to the game. When Arsenal is playing and they get a corner kick, the cameras goes directly to their set piece coach and what he should do. My point here is that Ferguson in England has won league titles for Man United, but if it was now, he wouldn't have gotten it easier. He would have struggled massively if it was now. So yes, he has done well, but it is very lucky for him. He was very lucky and he was very fortunate that he played under those times and those managers who were not ready to learn. But now the managers are learning. And I feel it was now. I'm just answering the question you asked me, Benedict. Yes. So we'll go forward. There are more things I would like to say about Alex Ferguson. So I'll allow Sam to come in, and after that, I'll also come.
Okay, so Sam, with what Raf is saying, we want to look at like a battle type of thing. What he said about if Ferguson was in this era, he wouldn't have survived. Do you think that is true? Because in this era, we've seen a lot of tactics, a lot of technology, and a whole lot of things. His time, there weren't those technologies, but he was able to use his fine brain to be able to make Man United great. So are you in support of that? And if you are not in support, what would you say concerning Raf's issue?
Listen, I think we've watched football for quite some time now, and
yes,
we all have. I think index analysis of how the game has grown from time to time. If we are comparing two eras now, if you are saying Ferguson wouldn't survive in this era, then Klopp wouldn't have even had a team to coach in their era. Things are quite easier now. There are technologies now, so things are quite easier. If you are comparing two eras, then you don't have to mention Klopp's name, even when we are mentioning Ferguson's name, because these are two different eras and they all played major roles in two different eras, and you can't undermine the coaches that were there in that era. In that era, listen, we had a coach until now that I think no coach will even come close to doing that. We had a coach that went a whole season without being beat, and that was Arsene Wenger. When things changed, yes, when things changed, they were saying he was not that good, but no, it was just a different era that he need to step back and say, listen, let the new guys take charge. Are you going to undermine what Ferguson did in his era to what Mikel is doing? No, let's be honest. Let's give, even if we are giving Klopp 10 years in Liverpool or 20 years in Liverpool, Klopp couldn't have achieved 13 league trophies with Liverpool. And that's the fact. If it's two different eras, then we should end this argument, because it's an era where there was no technology, to an era now that things are quite easy now. Even a young chap like Ruben can stop playing football in the next 2 or 3 seasons. He's a top coach, because what things have been made easier. There you have about 6 or 10 coaches that will sit. You have some even sitting in the dressing room watching the match from a different perspective. During their era, there's one coach who sit in that box. You watch the match with a tactical eye, and whatever you need to do or plan has to be done on that pitch. Whether it was nice football or it wasn't nice football, at the end of the day, what did you win? That's nice. That's on nice football that you are saying. I was give us 13 league trophies, give us the treble, give us a 3-piece that Liverpool and Klopp couldn't done or wouldn't have been able to even do in this era. Let's be honest. We can't, if we are comparing, yes, we can mention Klopp and Pep and this new guys. But listen, Ferguson should not be placed in that conversation. It's disrespectful, and it undermines the history of even football. Talk about Wenger. Talk about Benitez. Fine. These are men that played in his era and knew what it entails in his era. We sit here every day and say players that played back in those eras played hardcore football. These eras it's just stylish football, but they are playing. So if it's two different eras, then let's keep this argument on hold, because we can't compare Klopp's era to Ferguson's era. It can never happen. These are two different eras. Klopp did very well, fine, but what Ferguson did in EPL, come on, man, come on.
Okay, so I want to ask some questions. Yes, I want to ask some questions, and I don't know if Prince, you have any questions you can also ask.
I think I would like to add a little bit to what Sam said with regards to this era being easier, and I think I support him with that. It's true. When you look at this era, you have AI and all these things coming in to assist you, and he said something with regards to someone playing ball today, tomorrow, just in few months from there, he's a coach. Even in Ghana here, we have Michael Essien and Derek Boateng coaching at Nottingham. Those two guys are coaching. Asamoah is a coach. I happen to know that we have our two coaches, two midfielders, that is Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey. coaching in a champion.
Coaching, yeah.
You understand? Xabi Alonso just finished, retired from football, and is coaching. Even Tony Cruz. Tony Cruz has an academy that is coaching now. You understand? So Philip Lam. So all these players just finished football, retired not long ago, and they're already back on a field coaching. You understand? So things have become easier compared to the time of Alex Ferguson. Now it's true. Because now when Arteta is standing at the touchline, he has about 4 coaches behind him or 5 coaches behind him. But those times we didn't see, I stand to be corrected, but I didn't see Alex Ferguson standing and you see his backroom staffs, about 5 coaches behind him who can.
Okay.
And now we have monitors, they have screens and monitors that they are watching as the game is going on. They correct errors and things. So I think it's true, things have become easier. But comparing these 2 errors, it's some way.
Benedict, I would like to come in on what Spence just said.
Yeah.
Technology evolving and many dynamics coming into the game doesn't make it easier. I want to correct that one.
I think I support that.
The introduction of technology, look, the world is evolving. New things are coming up day in, day out. But the fact that new technologies have come up to just help the game get better doesn't mean it is easier. In the 2014 World Cup that Germany won in Brazil, before every game, they have 23 coaches who are working behind the scenes to analyze each and every player. That was in 2014. Technology has been introduced into the game, and that doesn't mean the game is easier. They are making things work better for them. They are making good use of technology.
I'm coming.
Oh, Sam, let me learn. There were certain things that were done in other sporting disciplines that they have been introduced into football. The throwing coach, the set piece coach, the this and this. Doesn't make it less. It is the game is still difficult. It is not easy to win. So, and bear in mind, Alex Ferguson had a backroom staff he consulted.
Yes.
I'll get the name of this guy. I'll get his name. He had a backroom staff he consulted before and after every game. He has somebody he spoke with. So when you see Arsenal's backroom staff, yes, they are helping him. But who knows his backroom staff or the backroom staff of Man United? They were also working behind the scenes.
Yes, I think with the backroom staff issue, every coach has at least backroom staff. So we are seeing them now because we feel like we've given them the exposure, like us now. You know, Nico Kovac, anytime there is a set piece, he comes out. Yeah. Brentford has the same. A lot of teams are having. But back then, we all know Tony Pulis, Stoke City. They were having a throw-in coach. Who knew that at those times, anytime Stoke are having a throw-in, you see, I think the player is called Dilab. That's Dilab's dad.
Dilab, yeah.
Yes,
Roy
that's Dilab's dad. You'd see him rub the ball with a towel and just throw in, and they'll get a goal or set, or like maybe a penalty or something out of it. So I think with backroom staffs and technology, to me, on my side, I think we are just exposing them now because we see Arsenal scoring a goal and Nico Kovac will do a sign of the player should bend the ball with a camera capturing that and is out there. But those times they were having backroom staffs, they were having set pieces and a whole lot of things. But it's like now those set pieces coaches are having the exposure compared to those times. With the questions I want to ask both, with Raf, with Alex Ferguson, he has been one of the coaches that brought a whole lot of things to the Premier League. We see Jose Mourinho, the Arsene Wenger, always talking about him that he was one coach we were always trying to beat. And we're looking at back to his career. He won 13 Premier Leagues, which on any day is not easy to win. What I want to ask you is that, do you think he performed so well based on the talent he had at that time? And he grooming those talents was something that, as of now, is hard for some coaches to do. We saw the Man United 1992 squad. We saw some squad he was able to assemble. Out of all this backing I'm giving, do you still think he is not on that level when it comes to tactics and game plan to Jurgen Klopp?
Man United was a big deal in those times.
Yes.
Man United was was the biggest team in England in those times. He was able to attract the key players, the Ronaldos, the Cantones, mentioned them. He attracted big players.
Yeah.
And if you spend 26 years in a club and you win 13 league titles, it's fair enough. By then, Alex Ferguson is celebrated. He's one of the finest managers we have in England. He has done so well. But the point we are trying to make here is that if it was, but Sam is saying different eras. But yes, we know it is different eras. But we are saying, would he have survived if he was in the league now? We know it was a different era.
Would Klopp have
With his age.
survived in that era too?
In which year? Can you give me a specific? I will tell you what club was doing in this year.
Ferguson's
I think Ferguson's era ended in 2013.
2013.
Yes.
So from 2013
2013,
coming down.
Yeah, 2013, 2014, Klopp
So-
was at
Klopp
minus
was qualifying for the Champions League semi-final with a virtually unknown team in Borussia Dortmund,
Dortmund. Yes,
winning the
At
Bundesliga
where?
back-to-back with Borussia Dortmund.
Wait,
in
at
Germany.
where?
In
It's a
Germany,
top
where?
league. It's a
was
league
able
that has
to
been
break
dominated by one team.
the record
And
of
he
Bayern.
broke that monopoly.
Wait. We
And
sit
Klopp
here
broke that monopoly.
we sit here each and every day, compare other leagues to EPL, and tell ourselves, listen, the competition in EPL is nowhere close to any other competition everywhere. Let's be honest.
No, Sam.
In
The
I'm coming.
EPL and
In
them are both
the,
class A
in the
leagues.
German league, it's just two teams. If Bayern does not win, it's Dortmund. It ends there. In the League A, if PSG that doesn't win, we pray for any of those other teams to win. Listen, in that era, that was the era that we knew the top four. Because in that era, you won't have any game that easily. One game could justify the entire season. We had top not coaches that play games each and every day. Listen, you can talk about game plan and tactics. My game plan might not be nice to you, but it wins games, and that is what every team wants. If you are saying Ferguson can't survive in this era, then equally Klopp wouldn't have even survived in that era. I'm coming.
My point is that
We've had Pep saying stuff like he cannot be compared to Ferguson, because if he knows himself, without money he can't coach big teams. Man United did not attract big names. Let's not make that mistake. They made
you attracted big name.
I'm coming.
You
We made big names.
You signed Robin Van Persie from Arsenal. It was a big name.
I'm coming. I'm coming. When we
You signed Ronaldo from Sporting Lisbon. It was a big name.
When we signed Ronaldo, he was not a big name. We made him a big name.
He was a big name in the Sporting Lisbon. He was a big name in Portugal.
Hey, come on. When we signed Ronaldo, he was 17 years old. Go and check.
He was. He was the biggest export.
No,
he was the biggest export from Portugal.
No one knew about him then. We made Ronaldo come to that limelight of him being
because of the team United.
I'm coming.
Because of the club Manchester United.
Of him being a big name. And listen, when Van Persie chose Man United, it was because of his chance of winning a trophy. Because he believed that. I'm coming. No, not because it was a big. I'm coming. Not because it was a big name. Man U is still a big name. This last weekend, Arsenal beat Madrid back to back. But the big news was Man United doing a comeback against Lyon. They are still big names.
Even though the big news, Sam, it wasn't a big news.
I'm coming. They are still big names. I'm coming. No, if you can go and check the use and the life between those two. Man United is still. I'm coming. Man United still attract big players because it's still a big club. Back then, it wasn't about the big club. It was about the chance of you winning a trophy, and every player wanted to touch that trophy, so they wanted to play for Man United. It wasn't about the big. It was about their chance of still playing. People now play for Man U because yes, it gives me a good notch on my CV. Back then, it was because I wanted to win trophy, so I'll play for Man U, and it was because Ferguson built a system. You can't undermine what Benitez did in Liverpool. But during his era, they were people that were giving him tight competition. It was tough in that era. So if Ferguson could put all those trophies through within all these top notch coaches, keep your names in a different era. Ferguson, Klopp cannot be in the conversation where there is Ferguson. These are two different eras.
One spent 26 years, the other spent 9 years.
Sam, I want to find out from you. We've seen in Ferguson's era, there were a whole lot of controversies, especially when it comes to league games decision. We've heard rumors that there were times the person leading the referee board now, Howard Webb, in some games were going in favor of Man United. There are similar games, Man United Chelsea's, Man United Arsenal's, Man United in some of the games. That is why every time there is a whole lot of rumors about Sir Alex Ferguson was able to win 13 Premier Leagues in 26 years. But when it gets to the European front, he lacks a bit. Don't you think during his era, there was more of support from maybe the FA or support or a backing that made him one of the greatest coaches in the EPL?
Thank you. Now, there was. I'm coming. This will circle back to you two saying technology is not making the game easier. The basics of every technology in this world is to make life easy. Let's not forget out. So that technology in this era maybe is correcting all those mistakes right now in this era. Maybe the goals that would have been allowed in those era, but now they are goals because there are ways that you can just see that yes, this is a goal. If Ferguson was in this era, maybe the VAR would have seen some things and said yes, it's wrong, so it's not a goal. So let's not but still they played in that era. And don't get me wrong, he was not the only one that was benefiting from these blind mess-ups. There were
80% of the decisions went
for him.
80% of the decisions went for him.
No. If your team was not that big by then to enjoy some privileges, that's your issue. As of now,
you were the biggest team by then. You were the biggest team by then. You're enjoying all the privileges.
I'm coming. Madrid, I'm coming. Madrid still have that of saying they enjoy some privileges in the Europa League. Does that clear their trophies, or does that undermine what they did in the?
It doesn't. But we
know. So Sam, I want to find out from Raf too. Raf, looking at Klopp for 7 seasons at Liverpool, he lost more finals than winning trophies. So, looking at the coach, even though he built a good pattern for this Liverpool setup, she got into 3 Champions League final, won 1, got into, I think, 1 Europa League final and lost it. I think 2 or 1. I stand to be corrected. Don't you think this is also a sign of a coach that didn't take his chances? Even in this era, he had the Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Roberto Firmino being one of the best players around that time, but he wasn't able to take advantage of it and just won 1 Champions League and 2 other domestic trophies where he won on penalties against Chelsea. Don't you think there's a question mark about a coach you are branded as a great coach?
Yes, Benedict. Then that brings back my question where I will ask, who is a good manager? Is a good manager the manager who only wins trophies for the club? Is a good manager the person who is also able... Wait, I'm coming. My brother, let me end.
Sam,
is
wait.
A good manager that... I'm coming. Is a good manager the one who is able to develop players for the club and along the line win some laurels? Hold on. Di Matteo won a trophy for Chelsea. Will you rate Di Matteo won the Champions League for the first time in 2012? Will you rate Di Matteo as a top manager?
No.
Because he won a trophy? It goes beyond that. There's more to it. Now, we're even making a discussion on Carlo Ancelotti not being able to manage Vinny Jr., Bellingham, and Mbappe. even though he has won a trophy. But that is a weakness that is going against him. Now, as a good manager, you must have the complete package. It must be a complete package. Player development, along the line winning some laurels. Ask yourself, why is Arsenal still sticking with Arteta? Even when people were saying that they should even get his head, go for his head. They stick with him because of the developmental projects he's doing for the club. Succession planning. Alex Ferguson left to talk about Klopp. Klopp, from his time at Borussia Dortmund, Lewandowski, all these big boys are Klopp's product. The Mario Götze. Mention a Liverpool player who has not been developed or made by Jurgen Klopp. They are all his products. And adding to it, he won some trophies. This is what makes him a complete manager in my books. You were telling me about how the EPL is touted as a difficult league. Do you know how difficult it is to win the German Bundesliga back-to-back?
Come on. Okay,
it is not. So let me finish. Alonso did it last season. He couldn't do it now. Someone did it back-to-back. Came to England, his first European Championship. He went to the Europa League final. Unfortunately, he lost. Went to the Champions League final twice against, the greatest team, Real Madrid, and he lost. Unfortunately for Klopp, he came up against the best manager ever in Pep Guardiola. He won a league. Ferguson won the league with 70 points. Klopp had 97. Pep Guardiola had 98 and won the league. Guardiola had 99. Klopp had 98 and lost the league. This is not a bad record in my opinion. This is not a bad record in my books. Even if Klopp won only one league title, that fight, that chase, Liverpool lost only one league title, one league game then against Watford, Ismail Assar and Troy Deeney, and we couldn't win the league. There is no way you can convince me and tell me Klopp is not an excellent manager. Looking at where he's coming from, with the management, with the small budget he has, he was able to work on this team. Now let me break the ice here. He left Liverpool and we are about to win the league. Can you say same for Alex Ferguson?
Okay. So Sam, I want to find out from your submission on Sir Alex Ferguson. Because we have some 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, please wrap up for us on what you think Sir Alex Ferguson is best. Yes.
Wait, Sir Alex contradicting himself in all what he's saying. Listen.
Yes, but I want you to. Yes, I'm on the Ferguson thing. Then we leave the debate for our viewers to also give us the comments. Yes.
So I'm saying Ferguson nurtured and produced more talent than Klopp did. Ferguson was ready to
lie.
Oh, come on. Ferguson was ready to
mention them.
Ferguson took a 17-year-old Ronaldo and made him a world best. Something your club has not
boy was a talent. You gave him the platform. That boy was a talent. You gave him the platform.
Wait.
He's not your academic graduate.
I'm coming. Something your club has not been able to do, even with Salah. So let me end. Listen, Ferguson sold his best players and still took trophies. If you guys have sold Salah,
you didn't nurture Ronaldo. You didn't nurture Ronaldo.
We sold Beckham.
We sold Ronaldo.
I'm coming. We sold Beckham. We sold Ronaldo. We sold Van Nistelrooy. We sold and still won trophies. If you guys have sold Salah and Mane in the same season, you guys would not have been close to anywhere. We won the league with Joe Gomez and Philip at central defense. The season Salah lost his form, you guys were not in that conversation. If Salah is injured now, the whole team will be destroyed. Let's be honest to ourselves. Listen, the players that has the big names in the EPL now are names that are guys that were brought up by Ferguson. Let's not lie about this. Klopp has done what? Yes, but what Klopp has done cannot be compared to. If you know the history of Ferguson and Man U, Ferguson was nearly sacked at a point in time in Man U. So he also went through the ranks before he could set his name in that pedestal. Klopp has done what? Yes, in their books as Liverpool fans, yes, maybe one title in 7 years is fine for them, but never undermine someone who took
it's not one title. We won the Champions League.
I'm coming, but we the same. If we give
Ralph,
Klopp
your
20,
camera is off.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to work on.
If we give Klopp 20 years, Klopp cannot take 13 league titles, and that's the fact.
Your manager had 26 years.
You can all.
Klopp had 9 years. He won the league once. He won the Champions League once.
Who sacked him?
Resigned.
No. So if you resign, that's your issue. If you want to still play. That's what I'm saying. If no one sacked him. If you want to still play.
He wants to go and rest.
I'm coming.
He wants to go and rest.
Okay,
now,
okay.
Benedict,
The
ask Sam.
Yes.
The succession plan United had for under Alex Ferguson. After Ferguson left United, tell me the story after. And that is how we are going to know who a good manager is.
Yes.
Manager,
I think
after he left, what did he leave behind?
So that's your argument now.
No, that's some argument. It's one of the arguments.
No.
How to point. We are punching holes into our this. So you can't tell me what I should know. As a good manager, Klopp was a good leader. He had a good succession plan, and Liverpool is thriving. Tell me about United.
Okay, so we would put a show.